on, sir. The math thing isn't the problem. Night shift's keeping you and Kevin apart. You two just need a bone.
How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe as usual. We got a new Dead Cells update. I'm super psyched for it because it's got so many new weapons and skills, and they're all call-outs to a bunch of different indie games. And the one we're going to be taking a look at today is The Bone, and that is from Skul the Hero Slayer, a game that I have played many times on this channel. It's a very cute game. I love it a lot, and if you haven't played it before, Skul the Hero Slayer is a lot like Dead Cells in the sense that you have three quote-unquote stats. Like Dead Cells has tactics, brutality, and survival. In Skul's case, you have speed, balanced, and power, and those are the skulls. So you put on a skull, and then you can use its moves, you can use its skills, things like that, and you have different synergies from items you pick up, and it's really, really fun. I would say that it has like a standard difficulty as far as roguelikes are concerned, which means that it's pretty hard in general. But I really do enjoy the game, and I highly recommend it for you guys. Oh, and also, you can play as the prisoner in Skul the Hero Slayer, and what's not to love about that? But today, we are going to be playing Dead Cells, but Skul the Hero Slayer inside Dead Cells, which means that we'll be taking a look at the Bone. And I really like this weapon because of the fact that it's not just a call out to one of my favorite games, but it's also quite a powerful weapon and has so many different functions that I've been able to uncover in just one run. I'm going to be able to uncover a lot of other things in future runs, but for now, I was able to figure out so many cool things that I can do with this weapon that not just serve as an offensive weapon, but also provide some defensive utility as well. So if you enjoyed the video, want to see more stuff like this, I'm hoping to put out a video on some of the new weapons that we got, including this one, and I have another one. So with that all being said, let's get on with this run. So the way this weapon works is it's essentially a 3-hit combination, but it's a really interesting 3-hit combination. So as you can see on the screen, when you hit the second time, that second hit, the third hit is actually going to be a spinning combo, which is going to result in a critical hit every single time, and this is probably a better view of it right here. And that's going to work really well with mutations such as Instinct of the Master of Arms and stuff like that. But what it's also going to do is be able to do a little bit more damage to enemies and clear out mobs, and also get you away from perilous situations. It's really, really good at mob management. One thing you may notice is that the range is not exactly the best on the first 2 shots, nor is it super powerful. But what it makes up for is the fact that you can actually get so many hits off on an opponent. So let's take a look at this right here. We're going to, take care of the buzz cutters. We're going to take care of all that stuff. But, I kind of mess up and I'm not able to do anything against that Rampager. But I'm able to kill a couple enemies because of the spinning movement, get some dodging in there. And one really cool thing is that you can parry out of the spinny attack. So it's not like other skills such as like the syringe where you can't parry out of it, otherwise you lose like the cooldown. You can keep spinning and then you can dodge out of it, you can parry out of it, and all it takes to get back is, well, getting the combo right again. And getting the combo is not actually that hard, nor does it really have any sort of major intrusion against bosses, and you're going to see that when we actually do the boss fights. One thing that you can do is, if you don't press a direction, you can actually stay still when you're hitting an enemy, right? So, such as the giant's eye or something like that, and I'll show you guys like when we get to fighting the giant. Right here, I was trying to ricochet the grenade onto that platform, but I just kind of got a little unlucky there, and it went below. So, things like that happen. But luckily, I actually had a turret, which was very, very convenient, and I needed that because I just didn't want to deal with the buzz cutter and a zombie, and not a zombie, a rampager, and then some rats. That would have been annoying. But take the curse in Corrupted Prison, and again, this weapon is really cool in the sense that, you get that defensive utility from being able to dodge things, but also it synergizes so naturally with something like Predator, which, some of you may be asking, doesn't everything synergize with Predator because it's really good? Yes, but especially the Bone Club, because you see, with the spinning crits, you can get a bunch of kills off on mobs and you'll never be in danger of getting attacked. So you can keep that combo going for the length of its duration when you have to deal with a bunch of enemies. Not only that, you also get like an insane amount of breach, and when you're spinning, you don't have the best control over it sometimes, kind of like the meat skewer. But because, and again, like the meat skewer, you're invisible because of the Predator. After you kill an enemy, you're actually going to be completely fine there. So that's why I take Predator second, and then we're going to be ending with open wounds. And that's kind of the standard brutality build that I typically run, I would say. Like, I have combo always, because combo is amazing in biomes, and, you know, with the way I play super fast, I'm always getting a combo damage off. And then you go with either Predator or you go with open wounds, depending on the affixes that you have on your melee weapon. So we're going to do the Kanji route today, except we're going to go to Graveyard because it's my favorite biome in the game, obviously. And then Sepulcher, Giant, Distillery, and then Hand of the King, and then the rest of the 5EC stuff. So, you know, this is a 5EC run, which means that after Hand of the King, all the spoiler stuff will be in effect. So I just want to warn you guys now so that you don't get spoiled, and you guys are more than welcome to click off the video. That is not a problem. I totally understand that, like, not everyone wants to see the spoilers. You want to finish up 5EC, and that's fine. And I'll give you guys another warning as we get there. But again, it's really cool. Like, another thing with the Predator is, you know, as I get those crits off, as I do a lot of damage, things like the Impaler, the Mushroom, can't get its spikes on me because I'm invisible and I can just keep attacking. And it's just this non-stop onslaught that I get on these enemies, and it's such a brutality melee weapon. What I mean by that is that it encapsulates everything that brutality melee, that whole playstyle stands for. So another really good example of that is something like the Swift Sword, as you can see me kind of spinning through the mob there. Is Swift Sword is like a very standard melee weapon with the whole, you know, speed crit thing. And again, as you guys know, it's my favorite weapon in the game, so I got to give it a shout out. But more than that, I think, like, it allows for you to be able to play super fast and super reckless, but at the same time be able to get your shots in. And then that's a really cool thing about just the brutality playstyle in general, which is why it's typically my favorite. It depends on the day, honestly, but brutality is usually my favorite. One mistake that I made has nothing to do with the Bone Club. It actually has to do with my Bloodthirsty shield. So when you parry these tentacles, you notice that they're slowing down and taking a while to come up, and that's because I have the freeze affix on my Blood Shield, which was not the affix I really should have gone for here. And I've had this Blood Shield since the start of the game. What I should have done instead is just reroll, get something like, well, I had Bleeding Causes Poisoning on the shield, so I kept it for so long. As you can see me getting hit because of the freeze, and that delays the tentacle coming up. It's a pain in the butt. But what I should have done is just reroll it, get like a burn or something like that. Barely avoid the running tentacle after I missed time to parry. But we're not going to get hit for the rest of the Kanji fight, and that's going to be, you know, good to go there. But, you know, you want to keep in mind what affixes you have, because freeze is not always a good affix against bosses. And in fact, most of the time you're going to figure out that it's not. So, you know, just keep that in mind as you continue to get better at this game. Really pay attention to what affixes you have. So now we're going to jump over to the Graveyard. Again, my favorite biome in the game. I have a whole video on it. Maybe I'll leave a card or something for you guys explaining why it's the best level in the game. But seriously, like, this whole biome is like why I love Dead Cells. Because the difficulty is there. There's a lot of different types of enemies to deal with. Like, you have Inquisitors, you have the Rats, you have the Purulent Zombie. Or I think they renamed it to something else. I forgot. But, you know, they have so many really cool things. And just the level construction is so engaging. Like, I love this level so much. It's literally like the perfect like level in just a video game in general. So again, just kind of going off on a little tangent there, but you know, we're getting to that point where the bone is starting to get one shots off as I barely avoid the slasher. And this is the thing to keep in mind, right, is with the spin on this weapon, you want to be careful as to, you know, when you're utilizing that spin, because the spin is not always worth it. So an example of this would be, you know, if I'm dealing with a mob, you know, and or if I don't have Predator or something like that, and there's an enemy about to attack, you know, I may be spinning, but then the spinning animation may get in the way of you being able to see like an enemy attacking. So that's just kind of an example of like where you want to be careful. And by the way, I'm cursed right here right now because I only took the Graveyard Curse at the very end of the level, so I had to go into Sepulcher with it. So that's why I'm cursed right at the start of the level. But now we're going to get the actual Forgotten Sepulcher Curse chest. So that knife dance looked super interesting, and I really wanted it, but ultimately I decided not to. And one really cool thing about doors, for those of you who are kind of new to the game, is you can break down doors and stun enemies, which is incredibly powerful. Like, especially, again, when you're dealing with mobs, because mob management is a big part of Dead Cells, you'll be able to stun like 3-4 enemies at once, and especially some of the smaller enemies that you may not see, you'll be able to get a bunch of kills, and that actually works really nicely when you're cursed. So pay attention to your doors when you're cursed. Pay attention to everything when you're cursed, but like especially like the environmental factors that you can take advantage of. Absolutely, always take advantage of everything that you have, because Dead Cells is a super hard game, and take what you can get. Take what you can get. And, like, don't worry about, like, oh, am I cheesing the game or whatever. Like, no, you're not. Like, it's there for a reason. So, you can see me just absolutely cleaving them. Another really cool thing is that because of the spinning motion, you actually get a little vertical movement on it. And so you can actually kill flying enemies. And I don't really show it in this run because I didn't get a chance to do that. But, you know, I have Predator, so there's no need for me to do it. But this is the giant fight that I was talking about, right? So what we're going to do here is, obviously, you know, we're going to parry all those lasers, and then I can just stay in one spot. I let go of my control stick, and then I just get a bunch of hits off. And again, it's that vertical move. It's the vertical, not movement, but like the vertical spacing from this weapon is that I actually get more range up in the air. So I can actually use this weapon like while suspended up in the air. You know, you can get a decent amount of hang time while you're spinning. It's overall like just such a good weapon against bosses if you know how to control it. It's very similar to Meat Skewer in that like there is a bit of a learning curve with this weapon, but I think because I use the Meat Skewer so much and I've gotten a lot better with it over the years, like Bone Club just being such a similar weapon was like such an easy choice for me. And you know, speaking of easy fights, I get smacked by Hand of the King, so that's not an easy fight at all. I don't know what I'm saying. I forgot that I had substituted out my shield for the legendary firebrands, which I never should have done because that got me into so many issues. And I skipped Distillery because there was nothing interesting that happened besides getting hit by the barrels. But I really should have died here. I almost did, to be honest, and there would be no run, no commentary, at least for today. But, you know, again, just pay attention to your weapons. Take a second to think before you do, because I have that problem. I just kind of go in and do things, and most of the time it works out, but there are times like with the Hand of the King fight, I just forgot that I had a shield, and I just got smacked a couple times, and you know, you're at near 100%, now you almost die. So 5EC, you take a lot of damage. You just got to be careful with these things sometimes. But another challenge rift in the 5EC area, the Astrolab, and obviously, you know, there are spoilers and stuff like that. I hope that didn't spoil it for you guys, but the final boss is definitely a spoiler, so if you want to click off the video now, that's totally fine. Challenge rifts, I always say this, and I'll continue to say it. Don't hesitate, because you're going to see me hesitate a little bit here, and I almost get hit a few times. And really, kind of just take your time before you go, but don't hesitate as you go, if that makes sense. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are a variety of things in challenge rifts that we don't necessarily like take account for, and we have to be able to adapt on the fly. And hesitating means that our adaptation is just not going to be as good. And even right there, right, I made a decision to go up, almost got hit by the ball and chain, and then I just kind of rolled. So it's just, you know, making use of that making use of the adaptability, excuse me. And this is where Predator is really good, because I have no way of, you know, knocking out all these enemies at once, so I just knock out one that I can, like, instantly, and then I can instantly, like, kill the rest, because I'm invisible. So, take advantage of your mutations. Just take advantage of everything the game throws at you. Like, if that's any lesson to take away from today, that's gonna be it. I love Astrolab just because of the fact that, like, I can, you know, kind of really showcase how good a weapon is, and you're seeing it right there because of just how powerful it is and knocking out really strong enemies. So final fight of the game against the Collector, I picked up a frontline shield just to boost up my damage off of parry, and we're gonna be just depleting the Collector's health just like super fast. And I almost get hit again, but nope. We're able to get a bunch of parries off, and it was really cool. Like, I got to do a little wall jump into a parry, which was exactly what I was planning to do, and it always feels so good when you come up with a risky strategy and it works off, and it works. Because if I had gotten hit or if I missed a parry, I would have taken 3 to 4 hits. I'd be down to like near 0 HP. So always good that that works out. And you can see me again, like, you can always pick up Instinct to the Master of Arms for this fight if you want to, or for your Hand of the King fight if you're not on 5EC. But I just picked up Blind Faith because frontline shield plus this weapon is just really good. So we're just going to parry a bunch more times. and he's going to drop the Panacea, and I'm just going to spam the Bone Club until he dies. And that is going to be the run. Fantastic run. I made a couple mistakes here and there. You know, when you don't play the game for a while and then you come back, you're going to make a couple mistakes. But, like, I'm really, really happy with how this turned out, and I'm in love with this new weapon. Like, it is so good, and it reminds me of, like, a cross between the Swift Sword and the Meat Skewer in just its functionality and, like, the way it strikes. And I honestly, like, I'm not going to do tiers right now because I need some time with the weapons, but if I were to put it in a tier right now, it would definitely go in S because I'm so high on this weapon. I really recommend that you guys use it. And yeah, I just can't say enough good things about it. They really did one of my favorite games a solid here, and I appreciate Motion Twin / Evil Empire for that. I just appreciate them for all the updates that they've been putting out. Like, seriously, this game is 4 years old at this point, and they're still putting out updates, and they're still keeping the game fresh. And I have a feeling, like, whenever they decide to put out that last update, it's going to be a really big one, and it's going to have a lot of story implications, and I am just so excited for it. This update has really, like, rejuvenated my love for this game, especially, like, just being able to try out new stuff, identify new synergies, stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the run. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Can't wait to show you guys more stuff. And as we approach the holidays, I just want to remind you guys, you know, just be safe and take care of yourselves emotionally, physically, and mentally. It's really important, especially during this time of year. The holidays can be a big trigger for a lot of people, so if you're really struggling this year, I have mental health links and resources in the description. You guys can always check them out. And again, you know, just take care of yourselves, and hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all later, and have a great night, everybody.
Looking sideways, but how am I the one to blame when you're distorting